Are you relying on RSS feeds to populate your radio station website? Well, there's a good chance that they're doing more harm than good. Today, we'll give you 9 reasons why you should kick RSS feeds to the curb.
You're listening to Better Radio Websites, the definitive podcast for radio professionals who want their websites to generate more traffic and substantial revenue. Get time-tested techniques, secret tricks, and valuable tools in online content, marketing, analytics, security, social media, and much more. Ready for your radio station to dominate digital in your market? Here we go.
Hi, it's Jim, and welcome to Better Radio Websites, the podcast that wants to help you get more visitors and the most revenue from your radio station website. Thank you so much for tuning in this week, and if you haven't yet, be sure that you like and subscribe this episode. And if you're on YouTube, be sure that you like and subscribe there as well. We're trying to get this podcast in front of more radio stations so they can get this great information to help their radio station websites grow. And today's topic is a big one about helping your radio station website grow, and that's RSS feeds. One of the first questions that we get when we talk about helping a radio station either redesign their website or start a website from scratch is, okay, what RSS feeds do you recommend? And sure, you may go to that thinking, okay, we need to populate this with a lot of great content and an RSS feeds. Importing RSS feeds is a very good way to do that. Now, in other podcasts, we've talked about how some stations will actually just post the RSS feeds on their homepage or throughout their website, maybe in the sidebar or something like that, and they'll link off to other places like CMT, Rolling Stone. Now, if you do have one of those RSS widgets on your website, the best thing that you can do for your website today is to remove it. Because if you have 5, 6, or 10 stories there from an RSS feed that they all link off to the website where that RSS feed is from, be it CMT, CBS, or Fox News, Fox Sports, or anything like that, we look at that, and we hope that you do too. You should look at that widget as 5, 6, or 10 reasons for visitors to simply leave your website. There's be no reason for you to go on the radio and say, well, if you'd like to know more about this story, go listen to other radio station. That's essentially what you're doing on your website if you have one of these RSS widgets on your homepage. You're giving them so many reasons to just leave and go elsewhere. And if you're trying to sell your radio station website, which hopefully you are, then it would behoove the advertiser to ask, why would you, I'm advertising on some place that you're telling people to go. Once they get there, you tell them to leave. Why would I advertise there? And so me as a smart advertiser would ask that question. So if you have one of those RSS widgets on your homepage, go ahead and delete it right away, because that is definitely doing more harm than good. So the alternative is importing RSS feeds, and we have advocated that here on in other podcasts. That is a better of those two things. Rather than just displaying an RSS feed and sending visitors elsewhere, it is better to import that content so visitors stay on your website longer. However, there are some downsides that come along with that, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We've actually devised 9 reasons why you should not import RSS feeds as well. Really, RSS feeds, they're just bad all the way around. They don't really do a whole lot of good for your radio station website. Yes, it's going to look like you have more content, but is that really a good thing? Well, today we'll kind of unpack that. Here are 9 reasons why you should kick RSS feeds, importing them to the curb. Number 1, RSS feeds dilute your brand identity. Essentially, when you import RSS feeds, you're bringing in somebody else's work. That's really what it is. Whether it's ABC News or Fox News or CBS or whatever, you're bringing in their work into your website. And what you're bringing in may not jive with your audience or people in your community. And so when you set that next to things that you do create, like your local news and events it's going to be in a different voice. They're going to write things different than you do, that sort of thing. And so if you're trying to find things out about your local community, maybe something that you've mentioned on the radio, things happening in your local community, it's maybe hard for them to find if they have to drudge through all of this national news and national sports and entertainment news and stuff that they really don't care about because they've already seen it on 20 other websites so far that day. So if you can focus on more local content on your radio station website, just things that happen within your footprint, you're going to be a whole lot better. And your website will, when somebody goes there, they're going to see everything in your voice and it's not diluted. All right, number 2, RSS feeds can affect your SEO. That's right. It's not going to make it better. It's going to make it worse because search engines out there, they love fresh content that's updated daily. And so when you're like, okay, yeah, but what I'm importing is fresh on our website daily. Yes, but it's not fresh to the internet. That same RSS feed is being imported on 100, 1,000 other websites. And so what you do is your local content actually gets pushed a little bit further to the bottom because your website is full of content that can appear on 1,000 other websites. And so search engines actually push your results further down in the ranking. That's going to make it harder for your radio station website to be seen in search results for things that you definitely want it to appear for, like advertising opportunities within your local area. So if you are importing RSS feeds and your competitor isn't, they're just doing local content, and somebody does a search for advertising opportunities within your local area, they're going to be seen higher in the search results than you are. Go ahead. Test it for yourself. Do a Google search as an advertiser would and see how your website compares to others in your area. All right, number 3 is lack of control over content. Like I said earlier, you are importing somebody else's work. So that's not probably going to be in the same voice. Not only is the same voice as your other radio station or putting content on there, but you could be importing something that just really doesn't jive with your audience. Say, for example, that you're importing a news story about somebody, that, maybe an artist that is similar to in your format, but maybe they're a controversial artist or an artist that you would never play. And so do you have somebody that's actually looking at that RSS feed as it's being imported every day, or is it just on autopilot? Chances are it's on autopilot. And if it is, then it could import something that just does not jive with your audience, and that could have a disconnect between your audience and your website, your audience and your radio station, and that is a bad thing. All right, number 4 is reduced engagement. Original engaging content is content that keeps people coming back day after day after day. If they have to skip over a bunch of stuff that they've seen in other places on the internet, then you're not going to get much engagement because the attention span is just not there anymore. So if entertainment news is very high on your homepage, and your local news and your local sports is right below that, and they have to skip over that every day, more and more visitors will refuse to do that. If it's not front and center, the main thing that you want them to do, or the main thing that they are looking for, very easy to find, they're just going to stop coming to your radio station website altogether. And actually, this is part of the reason why I think radio station websites, they're not just really a big concern with a lot of radio station groups anymore, because they're not seeing the engagement that they used to, because they're trying to fill them with they're trying to be everything to everybody. And that doesn't really engage with listeners anymore. If you can put things that engage with your listeners, have it front and center, easy to find, then your website is going to benefit a whole lot more in the long run. All right, number 5 is potential technical issues. Your RSS feed could have a problem, and you're importing problems into your radio station website, and those problems may look like it's just not being upkept, or it's unprofessional, or it's broken. Just recently, we had a group of stations that were importing content, and we found out that some of the images were not showing up right, and they were being imported. The wrong images were being imported within that feed, and it turns out that the feed author, they were going through some changes. The product changed, and they had some sort of issues on their end. But to totally work out the entire problem, it took weeks. And in the meantime, old news stories were showing up in the wrong places, and images were attached to the wrong post, and it was quite a fiasco to troubleshoot and to fix. They eventually fixed it, but it kind of drives home the point that we're trying to make here is that you could have potential issues within these RSS feeds, and it take you days to even notice that they are there. And in the meantime, your audiences have been disconnected and gotten a bad feeling off of your radio station website, and that is not good. And that could affect sales if you have an advertiser who is looking at your website as a place to advertise. Or maybe they're already advertising there and they're seeing these problems and they don't want their brand being associated with problems. So that could be a problem for you in the long run. All right, number 6 is missed opportunities for local content. As a radio station, you have the opportunity to focus, have a hyper-local focus. Is everything about your community you probably have an ear to, and you probably have a good idea of what's happening in your community, everything that's going on. And if you can showcase that on the website, that only benefits your radio station and makes your radio station look like more of a community partner. And people just identify with that. And as I said earlier, if people are coming to your station website to find that local content and they're having to scroll past all of this other content that they've already seen 2 or 3 times on other websites that day, then that gives a disconnect. And so you're going to be disconnecting with the audience. And really, we have found that radio stations who put more of a hyper-local focus on their station websites, they perform a whole lot better. Your website doesn't have to be everything to everybody. Yes, you do need to keep eyes on your website longer. The time on site is a new metric within the Google Analytics 4 metrics. And so, yeah, you do still want to keep them on your website longer, but you want to keep them engaged with other things that are happening in your community. One of the biggest things that we have found that works best on local station websites is like mugshots and obituaries. So there are ways that you can keep people on your website longer with local content. All right, number 7 is advertising and revenue impact. Displaying external content on your radio station website, it can affect your revenue. If a smart advertiser looks on your station website and says, okay, yeah, they probably have the numbers, but where are those numbers coming from? Are they coming to just see your mugshots or your obituaries, or are they coming to see all of this national news? Well, on the homepage, all I see is national news with a small box for obituaries. How can you say that obituaries is the most popular thing on your website when it has such a small footprint on your homepage? So your advertiser may think, okay, these folks don't really get where their audience is and what they really want, because if obituaries and mugshots were the most important thing, it'd probably have a bigger footprint on their homepage. That's probably where I want to advertise and advertise only. I don't want to run of site because I know that it's not going to be seen on run of site. I just want to advertise on these 1 or 2 pages. And so if you look at it that way, it can affect your revenue overall. Is you have to know where to put this flavor of extra RSS content if you're going to use it on your radio station website. It would be better to just completely take it off and just focus on the hyper local. It engages with your listeners a whole lot more, and it's going to engage with your advertisers a whole lot more. All right, number 8 is slow loading times. If you have to import RSS feeds from external content, then you run the risk of making your website a whole lot slower. First, if you're just displaying the RSS feeds from an external site, then what your browser has to do is go to that external site, pull that content, and then just pull it down and display it. If that website that is pulling that content from is slow, then your homepage is going to load slow. Your homepage is not going to load, and then when it gets that information, then load that content. No, it waits for that content to be received and then displays your entire homepage. That's just the way the internet works. So if you are relying on just displaying an RSS feed, that could slow down your website. For the folks that are importing news, then the images that you import could be very, very large. And so when those images get imported, those large images could be the ones that are slowing down your homepage. Plus, there are different things in the background. If servers have to go out and import all of this content on a regular basis, during those import times, you could be slowing down your server as well. So all of these things could be making your website slower. And then finally, number 9 is legal ramifications. If you import RSS feeds from a source where you do not have the authority to import them from, that is a blatant copyright violation. You're essentially copying and pasting content off of their website onto yours. No doubt about it. If you're importing like that. Now, if you're just displaying an RSS feed, then fine. But again, all of that content is just linking, taking visitors away. But we're just really talking about importing content today. So if you're importing content from an RSS feed that you don't have access to, you're breaking in copyright law, just flat out breaking it. On others, let's say you do have the rights, they've given you permission to import their RSS feed. You have to be sure that the images that you're importing also are, you have the copyright to display them. We've had other stations who had permission to import an RSS feed from an external source. However, they didn't communicate that they were giving out their RSS feed for other folks to import the content. They imported the content, which images came along with that. The domain in which they imported it on, the radio station domain, did not have the rights to particular images within that feed, which resulted in thousands of dollars in fines for copyright violation. So if you do import RSS feed from external sources, and you do have that authority to do that, be sure that images come along with that. So the image copyright comes along with that, because you definitely want to be sure that everything is covered as far as that. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself in a bunch of legal trouble. So that's it. The 9 reasons why you should kick RSS feeds to the curb. What should you do instead? Well, rather than rely on RSS feeds, it's best to just hyper-local focus on everything in your community. Local events, local news, contests, obituaries, mugshots. Again, those, if you're in a larger, medium-sized market, obituaries and mugshots, you probably won't have enough room and enough people on your staff to be putting all of those on and keeping them updated on a daily basis. But smaller markets, we have found that mugshots and obituaries are huge in those markets. Swap shop programming. If you run a swap shop show on air, then do swap shop. Put those listings on the website. Have it to where people can enter those swap shop listings or enter contests and enter their local events on the website. All of that local content is going to be a whole lot better than your external feeds, that your national stuff that you're going to get from anywhere else and can be found anywhere else online. So, I know it's going to be very, very tempting to pull an RSS feed from somewhere just because you don't have the staff or you don't know what to put on your station website. But seriously, try to keep your station website as local focused as you can. That is going to, you do need to keep your content updated daily. You still want to stay away from having a brochure type website, but do something in order to keep people coming back to that website on a daily basis. News, local events. If you don't have a news person, just be the events station. there's things happening around your state, local concerts happening around your community, around your area. Be the garage sale station. I don't know. There's all kinds of great things that you could put on your station website in order to keep people coming back and to keep that station website as a resource that you can't get anywhere else. And so that's really the drive home point today is it may be tempting to use one of those RSS feeds, but there are so many reasons why you shouldn't, and just focus on keeping a hyper-local focus. That's going to benefit you the most in the long run, get you the most visitors and the most revenue. That's what we're all about. Hey, if we can help with your station website, we'd love to do so. Be sure that you reach out to us at skyrocketradio.com. Have an awesome week online making your radio station website better. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Better Radio Websites. Remember to subscribe, leave a rating or comment, and share this episode with your team and radio colleagues. For show notes, archived episodes, and more free resources, visit betterradiowebsites.com. Need help starting or making your radio website better? Visit skyrocketradio.com.